Alright, so we are on lecture 4. The 4th lecture. Alright, we're going to make it easy. We're going to go over the last list of things that have anything to do with anything. For us, we have the Hindu 6 Cheif Sins. Why they use Cheif, don't know, don't care. Kama is lust, also the god known as Kama. Kama is essentially Cupid, is the best way to describe it. He's not really into making people fall in love, he's just into people making sex.
And that would be bad for them because the whole arranged marriage thing that they usually have going on.
Well, even in Tantric Sex, you're not supposed to give in to lust.
Really?
Yeah, the whole point of Tantric sex is to allow the feeling to overcome you so much that you have a psychotic-like break as if you were taking a hallucinogen. And if you do it slow enough, for long enough, and the screeching, the pleasure then becomes a pain pleasure thing, and it's riding that line the whole time, you will break consciousness.
Ah.
So, sex within a tantric understanding is to create that energy field to get into that thing so that you go into an altered mind state. It's not about getting on top and getting after it, man. It's about finding that point where both partners are right on that edge of pain and pleasure at the same time in order to break open the Muladhara Chakra. Completely different ballgame. Because everybody, they get, we're going to do Tantra, and Tantra's hooked into the Kama Sutra, and that means we're going to have weird, nerdy, naked Indian sex. And all the women are going around the room and jumping on each guy, right? No. No. If there is a female guru and she is a part of the circle, then as long as her husband says it's okay and gives her full permission, then yes. If there is another female that are a part of the Tantric circle that are working together and everybody has permission, then yes. If they are part of the circle and they don't have permission outside of their mate, then they only stick with their mate. But part of that, having the male and the female both having sex with different male and females, is to break down another one of those lines of mental and intrepidation that is forced within the Vedic concept and along with the Puranic concept of just man and wife. A lot of things in Tantric is to break down a lot of those social norms. But other than that, what it's really for is getting the partners to that point that they have extra conscious reactions to the sexual coupling. And a lot more to it than that, because there's a lot involved with mutual masturbation. There's a lot involved getting all the other chakras dinged up before they even get to the point of penetration.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
And they really shouldn't be engaging in actual full penetration until both heart chakras are connected. And then it's supposed to go on for as long as it takes to go on. Things are said. There's actually mantras that they do together. There's a whole lot of... It's a very large event. That's the best way to put it. It's not just, let's all get in the padded room and have sexy time orgy. There's a lot more going on. A hell of a lot more going on. But we're obviously not going to get to that in a public forum. But I think it basically explained, it's basically you're using very slow, specific sexual techniques to bring about a change in consciousness. Doing it as a purpose for lust, to just satisfy your animal desire with any other man's wife or any other woman's husband or whatever else, that's considered a sin.
And that's common.
That's common. Even though you get in the Kama Sutra, it gives a whole big span of how to have sex with other men's wives.
The Lust Sutra. Now I get it.
Yes.
What does sutra mean, by the way?
Sutra is writings.
Okay.
Sutra is like, this is the holy writings.
Right.
Dharma is the law of the holy writings. So like, the Kama Sutra is a part of other sutras that make up a Dharma.
Yeah, I've seen some of the other sutras mentioned, and I was like, those don't sound familiar. But
and then Tantra, there are Tantras that are like sutras. It's that they're just called Tantras because it's Tantric Hinduism. Sutra comes from Vedic Hinduism. It's all nomenclature shit. It's really dumb. It's just specific because it's specific to this and specific because it's specific to that. But it all intermeshes with everything else. Krodha is anger, and that's like wrathful, rageful, blasting out, destroying and hurting people kind of anger. It's okay to be mad, it's okay to have the emotion experience and pass on. It's not okay to use it to break shit. It's not okay to use it to hurt people. It's not okay to use it to kill things and kill people. That's what they mean by anger. It's not like, oh God, I got mad at Susie today at work because she called me a prick. That's not a sin, that's a normal reaction. But if you're supposedly centered enough, it shouldn't even affect you anyway. But their anger is more like a very nasty wrath. Then you have Lobha, and they just use the term covetousness. And you're coveting everything that other people have that you don't have. And then it also to the point they're using the term to use covetousness because you're going to take it. Remember how we talked about the negative chakras, the lower chakras? Oh, we're starting to see how these are fitting right in with those. So the covetousness goes back to just taking things because you deserve it. Because you're depressed enough, you're mad enough, you deserve to have that because you want it, because it is owed to you. I'm not going to talk about people in this culture who act like that, but I think we get the point. Moha, ignorance or delusion. In other words, you willfully maintain delusion in this world. You willfully maintain the Maya. You go out of your way to make sure you never break through the Maya to move in towards enlightenment or freedom. I choose to stay in the delusion. I choose to stay ignorant. I choose to stay unspiritual, grounded in earthly things by choice. I'm not working any of the pujas. I'm not doing the worship. I don't care about reading any of the works. I don't care about any of the crap. Fuck holy men. I'm just going to go around and be an animal, essentially. I'm going to go fuck with Kama. I'm going to go tear up the temple with Allah and do all that crazy shit. Make sense?
Yeah, I like that one. That's a sin. That's good shit.
Mata is pride. And they're not talking about like I'm proud of my works. Obviously, at one point, that becomes a point because they're trying to do everything egolessness, selflessness. But in the main thing, they're talking like counterproductive pride that you see out of the satanic sins. I'm so prideful that I'm blinded to the dumb shit that I'm doing because of my pride.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that out in the media these days that would make a good example.
Coakley's a prime example. You know, righteousness. That righteousness and that pride beyond that I'm right and whatever I do and say is right and I'm so great and I'm right. It's that, yes, the Hindus believe in righteousness, but they also, that if you have a righteous pride, that blinds you, and that's Maya again. That's going back to delusion and ignorance. Because of my pride, and I'm so right that you can't break down what I see as being the truth when that truth, because you say it's your own truth, is a delusion. Make sense? Pretty simple. And then Matsarya, envy. And we're talking heavy duty, not so much covetousness, where I want to take the things you have. Now we're talking about envy. I have the drive to have what you have, but I'm not going to take it from you, but I want to have what you have. So in other words, if you got a gold ring, I got to do whatever the hell I got to do to get a gold ring. If you got a big house, then I got to do whatever the hell I got to do to get a big house. And the reason that that's a sin, because again, you're feeding back into that delusion. You're feeding back into the delusion of the physical world. So in order to have a good life, I have to have these things. In order to be happy, I have to have these things to be happy. And that's why envy and covetousness are two separate sins. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Even though they're synonyms, there's a difference, because one you're taking and being a thief, destroying whatever. The other is you're trying to match the neighbor. And you're going to do whatever they're going to do. Get the same kind of job, same kind of car. And the crap we see every day. So those are your major sins out of Hinduism, especially in Tantric and Vedic. Any questions on that before we move on?
Well, you can really see the base for like the 7 deadly right there.
Pride, That's one of them. Lust.
Yeah,
That's
envy.
one of them. Envy, wrath, or anger. Covetousness. I guess could be greed.
Could be, yeah. I could see that is.
Yeah.
But-
You don't have sloth and you don't have gluttony.
I'm liking number 4 right
Yeah,
there.
that's my
that really
favorite.
Speaks to me so far.
Well, it's like that Mark Twain quote, we're all born ignorant, but it takes a true force of mind to remain stupid.
Well, just like I've just met a lot of people that fall right into that,
Mm-hmm.
which makes me wonder if maybe there's something going on with their energy field. Like if that matches up to the 4th lower chakra, perhaps there's a way to.
No, this does not match up with.
Oh, not exactly.
This list does not match that list.
Okay.
This is a side list that I thought I would share with you guys because it's sensible for us to understand these things and what we're doing. Now we can go through and line them up if we want, whatever. I mean, it's pretty close because if you look at it, lust is at the hips, anger and wrath is at the thing, then the knees. I mean, it's close, but I think these 3 is where it gets stupid.
I would think that that number 4, if you're taking them and laying them on top of each other, and the bottom of the feet would be at the crown, I think number 4 should be the bottom.
Ignorance and delusion. Actually, that would be considered top of the foot.
Top of the foot?
All right.
I'm just
sorry to be a
wondering if there's a
distraction.
way to use these traits or whatnot to determine which chakra in that person's body is like ruling over the other chakras. Because I think some people have chakras that are dominant, like in a way that maybe their sacral chakra happens to be more dominant than their other chakras.
From what I'm reading, it's whichever one is the most imbalanced has the most power over the person. So if your sacral chakra, well, actually we're just going to go through your Muladhara Chakra, so that's what we're going to be talking about anyway. If your butt chakra has the most issues, you're going to have a lot of you're going to have a lot of self-confidence issues. In other words, you're not going to be very confident in yourself. You're going to be very ashamed. You're not going to have much trust in the world. You're going to have a lot of diarrhea. You're going to have a lot of problems, or you're going to be stopped up a lot.
A lot of anxiety.
There's going to be a lot of anxiety. Everything that requires comfort, a basal earth grounding thing, it won't be that. So it correlates to the element that the chakra's a part of. So something. We're probably going to go over 20.
We have 5 minutes left on this card.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have to get another card. All right, so we're gonna go beyond questions right now because we're running out of cards and we can discuss it later. Okay, so to break everything down, my drawing sucks. Fuck you, laugh at it. I don't care.
It's just fun.
It's supposed to be a lotus flower.
Brings the point across very well, if you ask me.
You have the circle of the flower, which is obviously the bind of the thing. These are supposed to be the lotus petals. Fuck you, I know they're bad. Then you have the square representing the grounding. You have the Bindu symbol along with the triangle. This is the thing when you're meditating on the chakra itself, you focus on the Bindu point, but you take all of that whole thing as a part of the subconscious. Now, in order to start making the chakra work to where it doesn't work against you, they talk about rotating your eyes clockwise. Everything I've been telling you guys, rotate your eyes counterclockwise. Because we're not trying to balance the damn thing. What we're trying to do is spin it out of control and bust it open. So in order to start the process of strengthening and getting your body ready to deal with the chakra, be able to feel it and everything else, you would sit down, you would have the candle under the yantra, because that's what this is called. It's called a yantra. So that the flame is under there. Then you would sit down and you would look up to it. They describe it in the positive way as to look down, but we're having everybody look up because they're going to be rotating counterclockwise. And what you would do is you would start with your eyes at this petal, Vam, then rotate, Sam, Sham, Saham, Vam, Sam, Sham, Saham. And you would keep your eyes rotating as you're doing that at that rhythm. and you would go through 108 beads. And you would do this, I think I got it scheduled for 5 to 7 nights. Then, on the 7th night, you would do that, get through 108 of those, and then you would stop your eyes spinning, and you would focus directly on the dot that's in the middle of the Shiva moon, and you would do the Lam mantra. And you would go through 108 of those.
When you say 108, do you mean like all four 108 times? Or
No,
like...
just 108, just doing them.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, whatever it divides up into. That's why we have these, because these are the 108 beads. It's a counting device, but it's also absorbing the energy of everything that we're doing too. And then it's the projection of the energy, and the energy's going here. And the reason that it's not a complete circle is because so much energy has to fall out. Otherwise, you're just constantly spinning that energy, and you're not having a grounding of the energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want it to stagnate.
And once you hit these, and I know you guys are not going to want to hear this, about 10,000 is when you'll start reaching the city. You do
Yeah,
the Lam, just the Lam itself, you get about 10,000 in, and when you get to about 100,000, you will have your city. But that is also how you're going to get in tuned with Indra. Indra is the guardian over that chakra. Yes, sir.
Oh, it's just 1 minute.
Okay. So, we got to take you guys through each chakra. We got to get you ready to bust that bitch open, because what's going to happen is you're going to start one, move your way up. But the first thing you have to do before you even bust that bitch open is you have to do the Kundalini awakening, which involves Chinnamasta. Because Chinnamasta is basically the Indrani form of Indra. Does that make sense to everybody? And that's why Chinnamasta is the closest to Ariman, because she's sitting there in your butthole. More about the Muladhara Chakra if we have time.
Not much.
It represents the earth element. It is the earthy element. Obviously, stuff coming out of your butt's kind of earthy. It is for basically, when we talked about last week, the expressions, it's the poop expression.
It's about done.
And the other main thing that we need to go over, the Muladhara Chakra, is that everything that we do, speaking, breathing, everything starts at the base chakra, moves up through the chakras before we can bring it out into the physical and spiritual world. Cool.
Cool.
All right, we will answer questions after we turn the camera off.